Hi guys, I'm going to go through assignment 2 physical prep and just break down the criteria and what you guys need to do to pass merit and distinction, and the hope it's going to enable you to get the criteria quicker because there's a lot on offer. So red is all the past stuff, blue is merit and green is distinction. So P4, describe the lifestyle factors that can affect health, so that's the criteria. So what you need to do here is looking at all of these 6 areas. This is what we've been covered in class. You need to go into detail and describe these lifestyle factors and how they can affect health. So if you look at this worksheet that we've been doing in class, we've got all the 6 lifestyle factors here. So every single one of these boxes needs to be complete, okay, and both of these sections. Notice that P4 is describe. So if you had a bullet point, so say cardiovascular, so a benefit of physical activity is cardiovascular health. That's not going to be enough to get that pass criteria. You're going to need to put that into a sentence. So why is physical activity going to help cardiovascular health? So you'd say cardiovascular health makes your heart more efficient and it pumps harder and can pump the blood easier around the body to get it to the working muscles. And that'll be enough detail for that. So make sure that each one of these boxes is in sentences, and that will enable you to hit the pass criteria. Looking at the merit, so M3, you're looking at sticking with these 6 areas, but this time you're explaining the effects of them. So using examples of specific diseases, you're going to go into detail about how having these right lifestyle factors, so being a non-smoker, not drinking too much alcohol, having a balanced diet, how is that going to help somebody live a healthier life? So when it comes to the work we'll be doing in class, to hit the merit, I want another typed up explanation here underneath each box, which looks at what will you achieve. So explain what you achieve if you have the kind of recommended level of physical activity. So explain it in a bit more detail. So for the pass, we've got bullet point in a sentence, and then under here you're going into detail of at least kind of 4 areas from each of these, and you'll do that underneath every single box, and that will be enough to hit the merit criteria. So in terms of quantity, you're looking at to be in about kind of 10-12 lines by the time you explain about all the different benefits and linking it to specific diseases. So by being a non-smoker, you're less likely to get lung cancer or bronchitis or other diseases associated with the lungs. By the time you do all that, you're going to have kind of 10 to 12 lines underneath. So that's the merit stuff. To hit the distinction, because that's linked to the distinction, you then need to evaluate the effects of those lifestyle factors, and here is when you're going to start linking them to the public services and long-term employment. So you're looking at what's the benefits to the public services or a job in the public services if you've got a healthy diet, if you're a non-smoker, if you don't drink alcohol. So pick a discipline within the public services and talk about how is that going to help you. So as a police officer, as a non-smoker, how is that going to help you? What are the consequences if you are a heavy smoker as a police officer? How is that going to affect your performance? Look at kind of the advantages and disadvantages to the public services and to you as an individual. Then I want you guys to look at improvement strategies for you for 3 lifestyle factors. So where we've looked at the main ones that you guys can relate to, because I know a lot of you are non-smokers and don't drink too much alcohol and obviously don't do drugs, would be diet, physical activity and stress. So these are all factors that every single person in the classroom and staff could use to enhance their performance. So pick a way to improve your diet for you and go into detail about that. Pick a way you could improve your physical activity levels, and pick a way you can improve your stress levels, and then explain how that is going to help you gain employment. Okay, so you might say for diet, having a balanced diet and keeping the correct energy levels, that's going to help you gain employment, because when it comes to the interview process, you're going to come across as passionate, enthusiastic. You're going to show that you've got your stuff together and you understand what's required of you, and link that to your chosen public services. Okay, so that's the distinction. The next pass criteria, so this is in red, you're looking at providing lifestyle improvement strategies. So these are the 6 areas that we've covered previously, and we'll looking at suggesting ways that we can help that. So this is the spider diagram down here. So you need to make sure you've got 4 things listed in each, with a brief description for each one for the pass. So say for alcohol consumption strategy, you've got to go to counselling. You need to put a sentence about what that is. So this is where you go to group counselling, you sit down with like-minded people, and you speak about your addiction to alcohol and the barriers that you face, and that will be enough for the pass criteria. So you're looking at, for the pass, probably a line to 2 lines on each, so it hasn't got to be loads, but you do need to cover every single one. If you don't do one box, you're not going to get that pass criteria, so make sure that everything has got something written down in it. Okay, and that's for P5. For the merit, we're then looking at those things and we're explaining the positive outcome that you hope to achieve from doing that. So say if we're going to be looking at recommending nicotine patches for somebody who's smoking, what's the positive outcome for that? So the positive outcome is that they either won't smoke as much or they won't smoke at all that day. So rather than when they get the craving lighting a cigarette, they put a patch on. This then means that that's going to help their health, and then how is it going to help them? So they're going to be looking at having lower levels of nicotine in the body, less carbon monoxide floating around in their bloodstream, which means they're going to be able to breathe more effectively and have better lung function. And then also, who would you suggest it to? So for smoking, for the nicotine patches, you might look at kind of people 40 plus using those rather than vapes, which are quite popular for the kind of younger generation, the people kind of similar to your age. And also in the public services, patches can be hidden and people don't know you're wearing them, whereas vapes are quite clear to see. And also you can't use vapes indoors, so depending on what your job is and what you do. So looking at the type of people you suggest it to, so focus on ages, maybe genders, public services, jobs, and things like that, and that will cover M4. So again, under these strategies you'll have one or two lines on each strategy. For the merit, you're looking at enhancing that, so it's about kind of 5 lines on each one. 4 or 5 lines. You have more to talk about some than others, but you want a good chunky paragraph for each one, and all those paragraphs come together, and that's what enables you to cover the merit criteria. But we've been kind of ticking away at this in the lesson. And then lastly, P6 is what my group have been doing with Ryan. Okay, so here you're looking at your 6 weeks program. You need to make sure that you cover all of these, and I'll just explain now how you do that. So you need to have 3 things, these 3 things, in order to get P6. Again, if you haven't got one of those, you're not going to get P6, regardless of how good the rest of it is. So make sure it is all there, please. Okay, so pre-exercise information. Okay, so that is this client profile. So all of this can be found on Moodle. So you need to complete this out for your partner. Again, every single thing needs to be completed in it. If you don't know it, then I'm sure me and Mike aren't probably going to know it either. So use a bit of common knowledge and just get some answers in for each section. Okay, the next thing that you need to have is you need to have the 6 weeks exercise program template. Okay, now this is really important. This example is on Moodle, so you can have a maximum of 3 rest days a week. So you can see this here is week 1. So you've got rest day on Monday, rest day on Friday, the rest of the week you're training. So you need to make sure that you cover fit principles during this 6 weeks training program. So look at the amount of detail here. Again, you can use something very similar to this, just maybe change some of the numbers, and that should be absolutely fine. Decide whether you're going to be doing gym cardio or whether you're going to be doing gym weights, but it will depend on the goal of the person that you're designing it for. Generally it's easier if you put some yoga sessions in, because you just need to put the time. If you're going to use gym sessions, then it's going to be quite detailed, but once you write it once, that's like the main bit done. So what you need to make sure is that week 1 you start off having kind of 50% 1 rep max, or things like 15 kilograms, so 3 sets of 8 at 15 kilograms. You'll then kind of notice that as you progress through the weeks, here you've got 3 sets of 8 at 20 kilograms. So what this shows here is that you've got your intensity, so your intensity is being considered and it's being increased. Okay. The last thing you need to include is your principles of fitness evidence sheet. Okay, so that is this table that you need to fill out, or these 2 tables in this page. So you need to say in each of these areas, so what is overload, and where it can be seen in your program, so signpost it in. So for example, we looked at the eye intensity here, so you'd say in this bit, intensity is where you consider the intensity of each of your sessions and the intensity of the program, and it looks to increase. You can see this week 1 at 15 kilograms, or my partner's at 15 kilograms. Week 2 I increased this to 20 kilograms. So that's proof where it can be seen. Okay, so again, make sure everything is written in each area, and that will enable you to get that pass criteria. So all in all, there's quite a lot to think about, hence why I've made this video. You can listen to it as much as you like. That's all the criteria on offer, and